Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Kent for Tuesday, June 1st, 2021. We're brought to you, as always, by the great people at Today's Dentistry, Sedation Dentistry. If you have a lot of dental work that needs to be done and you don't necessarily want to be around while it's done, you'd rather sleep through it, Sedation Dentistry is the answer. 317-849-2933 is the number for Dr. Mike O'Neill, best dentist I've ever gone to. Let's talk about sports. Hit subscribe, hit like, ring the bell. Let's go. The Colts' 8 weeks of non-work begins now. They need 4 things to happen during this 8 weeks, and number one among them is you got to stay healthy. More injuries are not going to help the Indianapolis Colts win the AFC South. I think the Colts have a heck of an opportunity to win that division. Tough schedule, yes, but upgrades across positions of need for the Colts. I think moving from Rivers to Wentz is a step in the right direction. I think going out and drafting guys like Kwity Paye, step in the right direction from an edge rush perspective. You also get Hurricane Dio Odangbo. You want that guy healthy. That's one of the other things. And, of course, health is the most important thing. The most important determining factor in whether a season's going to be successful or not is always health in the NFL. And a lot of it has to do with luck, but a lot of it has to do with correct preparation. And the Colts need to prepare for this upcoming 2021 season in the right way. And that's what the OTAs were all about. Doing the 2 weeks, really critical in getting this team in a position where they could enjoy the 8 weeks off, where they're doing individual workouts before training camp starts, because they got a 17-game season ahead of them. The second most important thing, we're going in order from most important to least important, I guess, but they're all important. The off-schedule work that's going to be done, whether it's Kwity Paye, Dio Odangbo, the rookies, getting work in so they enter training camp with kind of a head start up here, and in terms of their body strength and quickness, so they can somehow be a force for good at a position where it generally takes a while to get good, right? That's what happens with edge. The rookies on the edge, not always able to be productive as rookies, and that's just the way it goes. It takes a while to learn that position. It takes a while to learn wide receiver, too. And that's why I think that people are justified in being really bullish on Michael Pittman Jr., as a wide receiver in his second year as an Indianapolis Colt, because in the second year, wide receivers tend to take that jump. We saw it with Marvin Harrison from 96 to 97, saw it with Reggie Wayne in his second year. T.Y. Hilton was really good as a rookie, really, really good as a second-year player with Andrew Luck. So we'll see how this goes. Watching Wentz and how he kind of figures out how to work with these receivers, that's key as well. And that is that's the biggest part of the second most important part of this, is Carson Wentz getting out with receivers. And so those guys can build sort of a rapport that you're going to have through the 17-game 2021 season. You got to have magic Achilles healing. Odangbo is a guy who's got to have that Achilles heel. You've got that with Eric Fisher as well. If the Achilles is good to go by the time the season starts for Fisher, that is a really, really good sign for the Indianapolis Colts. If you've got what's projected to be the starting offensive line in good shape for the Colts with Fisher at left tackle, then you've got Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, Mark Glowinski, and Braden Smith across the line from left to right. You got a real chance to protect Carson Wentz as a quarterback in a way that's going to let him be as good as we think he can be, and as good as the Colts think he can be, as good as a lot of people within the NFL think he can be. And then maybe if you've got the magic elixir for the Achilles tendon, maybe Malik Hooker can come back. There was a rumor over the weekend that he had a contract in hand from the Dallas Cowboys. That's being thought to be untrue at this point. But Malik Hooker coming back and providing some depth at the safety position, if he can go, that'd be a good thing. We'll see what he can do. But that tells you the tenuousness of playing in the NFL and why it's so important for these guys to take their contracts really, really seriously. Malik Hooker, entering his contract year, looked like, hey, if he has a good 2020, he's going to make bank moving forward in the NFL. He tore the Achilles. All of a sudden, his market value went to nothing, and now he's on the street looking for a prove-it deal to come back in 2021 and find a way out of the field and find a way to put himself in a spot where he can sign a contract that's going to keep he and his family secure moving forward. So that's kind of what happens with the NFL, and it's a sad outgrowth of the tenuousness of the health of NFL players. Let's talk about Helio Castroneves. Won his fourth Indianapolis 500, first time in 11 years, for goodness sake. Elio pockets $1.8+ million. And that was a heck of a race. That was a lot of fun. And you know what? Congratulations to both NBC and the IndyCar, Indianapolis Motor Speedway Racing Network. Fantastic job. That is the most unique radio broadcast that there is. And they do a bunch of broadcasts, right? But only one, like Indy, with guys kind of all over the place in different turns, whether it's Jake Query or Chris Denary or also Nick Yeoman doing really, really good work. And Mark James, as the anchor of the broadcast, kind of the conductor of that symphony, does marvelous work. He's got such a good ear, and doing a radio broadcast like that is so kind of great. Conversationalists are always great listeners, right? Not necessarily great talkers. They listen as well as they speak. And that was certainly true and is certainly true with Mark James as the anchor of that radio network's broadcast. I highly recommend the next time you consume the Indianapolis 500, you at least listen to part of it on the radio network. What they do is fantastic. Year after year after year. It's the most unique, and I really think the best radio play-by-play broadcast in the country each individual year, especially because it's a one-off. Fantastic stuff. Anyway, Castroneves with a win, and a very, very popular win. The stands at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 40% full. Looked like a little bit more than that, I got to tell you the truth. 135,000 people. Spreads out very nicely over that property, and looked like people had a great time watching the race. And thank God next year it looks like they're going to be back to 100% capacity. Julie, during the race, my wife, was like, hey, we're going. And we're going to go in a special way, and really looking forward to it, according to Julie. And, of course, Julie pulls the strings in the family. When Julie says jump, you just say how high, and you move forward with your day. It's the way things work around here. And after a long time being married to Julie, we've figured out that this is the way to live life, right? When you get your way as a husband, do you really get your way as a husband? In the end, does it not cost you more than it does otherwise? Does it not cost you more to kind of drive your agenda or just accommodate the wife's agenda? Happy wife, happy life. We'll leave it at that. Indiana basketball, they've got a couple of visits. Visits are stacking up for the month of June. These are odd times. You've got to figure out what you want to do. As freshmen, it's really, really odd to have a guy who can really assert himself in a winning fashion with a college basketball program. And with the freedom to transfer, you got to decide what kind of program you're going to have. Is it going to be about transfers, or is it going to be about growing guys from their freshman year through their senior year, knowing that they can up and leave and enter the portal at any time, really, that they like? These are odd times, but a couple of high school seniors-to-be are going to visit Bloomington over the next few weeks. One is Jalen Hood-Schifino of Mount Verdi. He's going to come to Bloomington. He is a top 30 2022 player. and a really, really good one. And Indiana's in the game for a bunch of top 30 ranked guys. And then they're also going to get a visit from Kyle Filipowski. He's 6'11". He's from the Wilbraham and Monson Academy. We'll see what he does. We don't know. We really don't know what any of that means. And he's ranked in the 50s. What does that mean? Does that mean that he's substantially better than anybody in the 60s or not as good as anybody in the 40s? We don't know. These rankings are, I'm not going to say spurious. They're guidelines, right? They're not meant to be an exact science. Even the people who put them together, it's not an exact science. And so it is what it is. And we'll see what Indiana University becomes under Mike Woodson. I'm really bullish. I think that Mike Woodson's done a terrific job over the course of his first 9-10 weeks as the guy in Bloomington who's making the determination as to where this program goes and who plays for it. I think Indiana's really moved forward in a number of ways over these past 9 or 10 weeks. And I think Indiana's going to have a hell of a first season with Mike Woodson and moving forward. And I don't understand the skepticism that some people have about Woodson and Indiana basketball. I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. He's a hell of a coach in the NBA. And if you look at the totality of his record, you miss the overall picture, which is when he was in Atlanta, all they did was win more from one season to the next. 6 years of winning more and more and more and more. And of course, that's unsustainable forever. Like you're going to hit a plateau at some point and have a little bit of regression, but that never happened with Woodson. And then when he took over the Knicks, I think they won 53, 54 games his first year. The roster kind of went to hell, and there were injuries, and so they didn't win as much in the second year. The guy can coach. He's a really good coach, and he knows how to put together the roster, and he's got guys around him who understand that at a high level, whether it's Thad Matta, Dane Fife, any of these guys. I love where Indiana is as a basketball program. We'll see what kind of progress Woodson's able to make, and I hope to God Assembly Hall, Simon Scott Assembly Hall, is filled to the brim when we get back to playing basketball in November. Hopefully, in 5 months, we're ready for that, right? Let's go. I'm done with all this. Once I got vaccinated, man, it was over for me. I was like, what am I doing? Why am I going to the Kroger and wearing a mask? I can't spread it, and I can't get it. So what am I doing? It makes no sense to me. Anyway, I'm not going to go down that wormhole. Let's talk about the White Sox and the Cubs. Cubs and the White Sox. Let's get it straight. The Cubs do not play second fiddle inside the city of Chicago or outside to the Chicago White Sox, but neither play second fiddle to anybody in their division because both are in first place. The White Sox are 3.5 games clear over the Cleveland Indians. Cubs a half game clear over the St. Louis Cardinals after winning 12 of their last 15. Yesterday, a 7-2 win over the Padres on Memorial Day, where it looked, they said it was 60% full. I thought that Wrigley Field yesterday looked a lot more full than that. I thought it was beautiful. Baseball in a ballpark like Wrigley Field, the stands should be filled. Let's go. Anyway, Javi Baez with 2 bombs yesterday. Chris Bryant hit his 12th yesterday. And Patrick Wisdom hit 2 for the Cubs yesterday. 7 runs, 5 homers. They went yard a bunch. And the Padres haven't played great over the last 10 games. They had played exceptionally good basketball until that point, or baseball. Hopefully, they continue to struggle today and tomorrow as they continue their visit in Chicago. Cubs playing good baseball. Hendricks tonight on the bump for the Cubs at Wrigley. Let's celebrate some birthdays, shall we? Alice Cox-Nye, happy birthday. Augustus Carve, happy birthday. Michelle Darnell, happy birthday. The great Dennis Culleton, happy birthday. Worked with him at WMAQ, and now he's the PR guy for the Ricketts family, for God's sake. What a small world. The great Laura Howard celebrating a birthday. Kirk Donhauer, happy birthday. Pamela Wilson, Mike Kitchell, and Brad Holtz. One of the best radio executives in this market. Doing a great job at WTTS. Love Brad Holtz. former intern at WKLR here in Indianapolis. That's where he cut his teeth, learning the oldies and how to spin the oldies. And now that's exactly what they do not do at WTTS. For Brad Holtz is the general manager of that terrific radio station. If today's your birthday, you celebrate like hell. If it's not your birthday, you celebrate somebody else at his best done with an honest and specific compliment. Today, inside Indiana Sports Now, we talk Colts, we talk Pacers, we talk Hoosiers. It's what we do. Cubs, my God. Is there no end? No, there's no end. You know why? Because this is a hell of a lot of fun. Talking about sports is great, and talking about sports in Indiana is the great test. We'll talk to you a little bit later today, right about 3 o'clock.